We are the nerds. We are the nerds of the apocalypse.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nerds of the Apocalypse live at SC Comic Con with our good friend Chad Bowers. We've had you on before.
Yes, sir.
We love Chad. We love everything about him.
Love you guys. You guys are great.
Okay, so we've talked about Downset Fight before. Great book. You can get. Where can we get Downset Fight at?
It's just coming back into print. It actually sold out first print run.
Oh.
Oni's back in print with it now. You can get it on Amazon. You can buy it at your local comic shop. You can buy it anywhere. Good comics are sold.
It's a great book. That's all we want to talk about, Chad. You know what we want to talk about. I was like, it's the first time I've seen some comic news and go, I know that. I know both those guys.
That's right. That's right.
It's you and Chris Sims, and you're writing the Secret Wars book, XMen 92.
XMen 92.
You're taking all us almost 30-year-olds, over 30-year-olds back to the 90s. I mean, so do you have to go back and watch the old X-Men cartoon before you start writing? Have you started writing this?
Yeah. We're actually working on what would be like the third issue right now, the third Infinite issue, because it's going to come out Infinite Comics first, and then it's going to be digital. All right, it's going to be digital first, then it's going to be print comic beginning in June. Okay. So we're working on chapter 3 right now, and yeah, we're working on it now. And, obviously, anybody who knows Chris knows that he did a long, very popular series of X-Men commentaries on Comics Alliance.
Right.
And so he obviously watched every episode for that. As soon as we got the gig, I bought the seasons and have been watching them ever since. So yeah, we watched pretty much every episode of the show. But the thing is it's sort of thematically similar to the show, but it's not exactly the show.
Okay, it's the same costume,
same costume, same. It's as much like it's those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of all that era. It's like it's sort of. As much as it's that show, it's also based in the X-Men boom of the 90s. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like the 92, the explosion, I think is what they call it.
All right. So like, does it pick up kind of close to where the comic ended, or the show ended, or is it just like you wrote a story for those characters and those personalities?
I mean, it's hard to say without talking a little bit too much about how Secret Wars works. But if you're a fan of that show and you're a fan of the comics, like, you shouldn't have too hard of a time figuring out sort of where this picks up.
Gotcha.
I can say that.
This is probably my most anticipated Secret Wars book.
Okay.
And it's even
mine too.
Yeah, that's right. So when you're writing the show, when you're writing the comic based off the show, do you feel like you have to change the way the personalities are that you're reading in Marvel now to do it differently?
No, that's a good question. What's so funny about those characters is that, like, because those comics were so popular and so many people read them, the voices are so. I think they're real easy to work with. You know what I mean? So yeah, just writing them kind of like the show, kind of like the comics, kind of like the post Claremont era. Actually, it came pretty easy for me and Chris, I think. I don't think anybody's going to be like, wow, this guy doesn't sound like Cyclops.
Right, yeah. Look at me, Cyclops now compared to Cyclops then.
Right, exactly.
Completely different guy.
No, completely different guy.
That's very cool.
He throws orders around like every panel. He's like, come on, people, let's do this, people. Listen, mister.
What was your favorite character to go back and write for?
Cyclops is my favorite X-Men. Cyclops is my favorite X-Men. So writing Cyclops is probably my favorite part of it. Beast is a lot of fun. And naturally, like, Wolverine's a lot of fun, but I think so far Storm is like the big surprise. Like, we love writing Storm because of those like big moments. She's such a big character in that era and in that show and in the comics. So yeah, it's a lot of fun writing her.
So you guys, you co-write it. How does that work? Do you guys just sit down and be like, let's do this on this page, this is how I want the basic story to be?
We get that question a lot. It's hard to describe how we work because we just, when I go in and play with the script, that's what I've done. Chris has veto power. He can go in and play with it. I have veto power. And we kind of do that based on a deadline, and we just kind of finish it on time. It's kind of hard to say. I've done a lot of the plotting for this one. Chris has come in and done a lot of the plotting on, like, the second and third. Well, it's hard to say. Like I said,
jumps around.
It jumps all over the place. You know what I mean? Like we don't really have a formula that we work on. So
yeah, Trent says my idea all the time. So.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like with Downset Fight, we broke it up into chapters. Like I'd kind of do one chapter, he'd do a chapter. I'd do a chapter, he'd do a chapter, and then we go in and kind of like maybe rework stuff that we didn't think felt. I mean, it's kind of like editing each other. That's how our stuff comes together. Like when we turn in scripts, we tend to be told by like our editors, this thing's really tight, because we've both argued about this stuff and gone over it, with a fine-tooth comb so many times that it feels like it's already been edited a little bit. But X-Men '92 has been very different because of the nature of like what the world it's set in. I reworked that pitch and the outline like probably 3 times before I kind of got it to a place where I felt like it really hit what it was going to be, and it still evolved a little bit. It still has some stuff that as you kind of dig into it, you kind of get a couple of ideas here and there, and once you kind of feel like, oh, it's going to be this today, but by the end of it, it's kind of something else sometimes, like a lot of things you write. But if you like the X-Men from like 1992 to like 1999, chances are the thing that you like is going to be in this book.
That's very cool. Real excited about it. I know you said in the beginning, but again, it's coming out digital first.
Digital first in May,
right?
And then print volume start in June.
That's awesome. All right, we're really excited, and we appreciate your time, Chad, as always.
Thank you for having me.
You're the man. Check out X-Men '92 Secret Wars.
Thank you.